some slippers, y'all. Michelle here, and I'm back to share some yarn goodness with y'all today. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about the SoftFelt Slippers designed by Alya Loops. I hope that I'm saying her name right. I apologize if I'm not. But this is a paid pattern, and it calls for super bulky weight yarn. So it has a really nice size chart range. It has a US 4 through 15, and that's a European 34 through 50. So that is a really nice size range for all shoe sizes. Okay, so let's talk about the yarn that I'm using. This is Drop Snow, and I have 3 different colorways. So let's talk about it. The first one that I have is color 14, which is charcoal gray. And then I have color 10, which is mulberry purple. And then I have color 54, which is lavender. So this is really nice yarn. Like I said, it's super bulky. And also this yarn is 100% non-superwash wool. So it's going to be great for felting. I'm really looking forward to that. So I am a little nervous about the hook size because it does call for an eye hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook. And I crochet very loosely, so I was wondering if I might need to go down to an H hook, but we will talk about swatching a little bit later. Now the pattern does include a stitch calculator for easy calculations tailored to each foot size. And the pattern also includes a lookbook so you can see what other slippers have looked like. It also includes a step-by-step photo tutorial and a yarn catalog to help you choose the best non-superwash wool yarn. And it comes with a lot of different yarns on that page, so I really like that. So this is my first time felting a project. I am a little nervous, but a little excited. I actually had felting a project on my 2025 bingo goals, and also it is on my 2026 goals as well. I just carried it over. Now I am going to be making a gauge swatch, and the pattern suggests that you do at least 5 rows and 10 stitches. So I am going to go felt a gauge swatch, and then I will be right back. Here's my felted swatch. I washed it on the hot water setting in the normal cycle of my washing machine. And the pattern suggests putting in a terry towel when you wash it. However, I just put it with a regular load of laundry. So basically, I did a total of 4 different cycles. The first time that I went through the first cycle, and each cycle in my washing machine is 45 minutes long. So I went through the first cycle and it came out and I could still see the stitch definition. So I put it in a second cycle and some of the stitch definition had gone, but I could still see some of the holes. And so then I did a third cycle and it was starting to felt. And so that was nice, but I could still see the stitch definition a little bit. And then I washed it again on a fourth cycle. And this time it was fully felted. I can't see any holes in it at all. It has lost the stitch definition. And yeah, it is completely felted. So it turned out really well. Now, the designer said that when she felted it, it took her an hour and 30 minutes. And so that seems about right for me as well. It took me a little bit longer, but I really wanted to make sure that it was felted really well. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I was wondering about this project, like how is it going to turn out and everything. But now that I've done the swatch, I'm really excited about it. And this is the first time I have ever felted yarn. So I am very, very excited. Okay, so I wasn't able to use the size calculator in the pattern because I did not measure the swatch before I felted it. However, there was a very helpful size calculator that was in the pattern. So let's see, my foot length measured 9.5 inches. So according to the size chart, I was between a US 6.5 and a US 7.5. My normal shoe size is a US 8, so I ended up choosing the US 7.5, which is a European 38. So that's the size that I went with. And also I like that the pattern has not only a men's size chart, but a women's size chart as well. So this pattern is packed with a lot of good information. So now I'm going to start on the pattern. For the stripes, I do have a couple of options. I can either carry the yarn or I can cut the yarn after each stripe. I'm not sure which one I want to do yet. I don't think I've ever tried the method of carrying yarn, but at the same time, I don't mind weaving in ends as well. So we'll have to see which method I use. But the yarn is really soft. So far I have worked with the charcoal gray color. And this is actually going to be the sole, the bottom part of the slipper. And so yeah, so far the yarn has been soft and easy to work with. I've really been enjoying it. And yeah, so that's the update that I have on that. I did want to share what I am wearing. So this is the Tolsta Tee designed by Rebecca Clow. And I will leave my Ravelry link below with all of the information. And also I'm going to leave my video link in my Ravelry page. So if you want to see the video that I did entirely about this t-shirt, about this knitted t-shirt, you can check that out as I do knit and crochet. So all right, y'all, now I'm going to get started on the slippers. I can't wait to start using this yarn, and I will update you all a little bit later. have finished crocheting the main part and the side part of both of my slippers, and I did decide to carry the yarn, so that was a nice technique that I picked up. Also, I had to do a little bit of trial and error with the sizing of my slipper. I crocheted the main part of the slipper using the measurements for the US 7.5, but when I put it up to my foot, it seemed like it was a bit small. So I ripped that yarn out and I went up and did a US 8.5, which is a European 39 shoe size. So that seems to be working a little bit better. And I would rather have slippers that are too big than slippers that are too small. And I know that during the felting process, the slippers are going to get smaller. So I'm kind of banking on that. But the yarn was a little difficult to frog because it had naturally matted together. But that's what makes it so great for felting. So I feel like it's going to felt really, really well. So, as I mentioned, I have finished the side part and the main part for both slippers. So, look at this one. Now, for this one, I have actually crocheted the sole part as well. So, this is the first sole part, and this is the second sole part, and this is the part that's going to go under the sole of my feet. And so, it's kind of weird, but when you put it together, it kind of looks like a slipper. You just have to kind of imagine it. It's kind of hard to imagine because I haven't sewed it up yet, but this is kind of what we're working with. But I'm really starting to see the vision. At first, I did not see the vision of how these slippers were going to turn out. I just couldn't see a slipper, but now I see it. And so I am very excited. I will say though, the difference is when you look at it without the sole part, well, now that I look at it, it does kind of have a bit of a curve. I thought it was more straight, but it does have a bit of a curve. But when I added the sole part to the slippers, it did make it curve a little bit on the outside. So I'm not sure if that is by design or what. I'm not quite sure. But I have to do the sole parts on the other slipper. And then after that, I have to sew up the slipper. And so that's going to be very interesting. I did want to share what I'm wearing. This is the Saturday sweater designed by Tamara Kelly of Moogly. So I did an entire video on this sweater, and so I am going to leave my Ravelry link below, which has the video link in that page as well. So if you want to check it out, I love this. It is reversible, so sometimes I wear it on the other side where the colors are a little bit more darker. So I really like this sweater. So yeah, definitely check that out. But all right, so I wanted to do a little catch up with you all. Like I said, my next steps is going to be to sew this together and somehow make a slipper out of this. And so once I sew it together, it'll be ready for the felting process. So yay, definitely looking forward to that. But I will catch up with you all in a little bit. I have finished the soles of the slippers and seamed them up. They are huge, but they will shrink in the washing machine. So here they are. And I am just so excited. I'm starting to see the vision, but I am very, very curious about how they're going to fit. Right now, they are huge, almost like clown shoes, but yeah, we shall see. So currently, they are 32 centimeters long, which is 12.6 inches, and they are 15 centimeters wide, which is 5.9 inches. So one thing, I did have a little bit of trouble with the seaming process because the yarn pulled apart. The yarn is very, very loosely spun, so it did pull apart while I was working on it, and that was a little bit of a challenge. So I had to retie a few times, but it was fine. All is well. So now I'm going to wash them in the dryer. No, that didn't make any sense. I am going to wash them in the washing machine. Yes. And I'm going to wash them just like I did the swatch. It took 4 cycles in the washing machine, and it's probably going to, for the swatch, and it's probably going to take 4 to do this. I am just going to put them in with a load of clothes that already needs to be washed. So after I have completely felted them, I'm going to shape them with my hands to just kind of give them the shape of my foot and let them air dry and hope that they fit. So I did want to make one note about when I was seaming up the slippers. In the pattern, she mentions how she shows you the way that you can make the toe more rounded, and I did that. And so my toes are a bit more rounded, and I'm hoping that when they felt, that will also, that they'll also be rounded. So yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, these are my slippers. I am just so excited, and yeah, I can't wait to wear them. I hope that they fit. I did want to share what I am wearing. This is the Rosemary Tee designed by Ashley Lillis, and I have uploaded an entire video on this t-shirt, and also I will leave my Ravelry link below, which has my video link in it as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw these in the washing machine and see what happens. Done! I have finished. So let's talk about the finishing process. So I timed the wash cycle, and the wash cycle was actually 33 minutes. I think I said 45 minutes earlier, but it's actually 33 minutes. And so after 3 cycles, I decided to try them on, and they were a little tight. I probably should have took them out at around the 2nd cycle or even the 1st cycle. But here's the thing. If I had have read the pattern, I wouldn't have got in trouble. So the pattern says that after the first wash to check it, because I'm going to read what it says. It says immediately after the cycle finishes, remove the slippers right away. Wool changes shape quickly while warm and damp. I did not do that. Here's the thing. So I thought, okay, so with my swatch, I had to wash it 4 times in order to get it to felt. So I kind of thought the same thing would happen with my slippers, but actually after the 3rd cycle, they were done. And so the fit is fine. I took them out just in time. They fit like snug, like socks almost. So so I took them out just in time. And here's the funny thing. I was reviewing my last footage, and I realized that I had sewed the sole inside out on one of the slippers. I don't think you can really tell. Let's see. Can you see the line more on one? I don't know. But anyway, you can't really tell now that it's felted, but that was something that I didn't notice until I was reviewing the last bit of footage. But let's talk about some of the techniques you will need to know in order to make this pattern. You will need to know how to chain. slip stitch, yarn over, single crochet, and double crochet. That's it. Not a whole lot. Yeah, not a whole lot to it. I did use 1.5 skeins of the lavender yarn. So that's 82.5 or 75.4 meters. I use 1 skein of the mulberry yarn, so that's 55 yards or 50 meters. And I use 2.5 skeins of the charcoal gray, so that totaled 137.5 yards, which is 125.7 meters. Now the thing is, I bought this pattern on Etsy, not Ravelry, so I wasn't able to create a Ravelry page for it. I'll try to see if I can come up with some sort of Ravelry page, but I wasn't able to do that. But if I am able to do that, I will leave it linked below. So the yarn felted really well. It was really easy to work with. The slippers came out super fuzzy, so I did have to use a fabric shaver. Yeah, so I used a fabric shaver just to shave it down a little bit because it was quite fuzzy, and it's still a little bit fuzzy, but not too bad. I'll probably have to use the fabric shaver again, and if you're interested in that particular fabric shaver, I will leave it linked below. So yeah, they're really, really good to have because these are some pretty fuzzy slippers. So the pattern also provided care instructions on how to keep up with these slippers, how to make sure that they stay nice and fitted, and make sure that you take care of them. So I really like that. Also, the pattern is 22 pages, but don't let that intimidate you. It's really, really well written. So once you see the 22 pages, you'll realize that a lot of it is just pictures and diagrams and size charts and things like that. So the actual pattern itself, it barely takes up the 22 pages. Now, I would definitely crochet these slippers again. The process was so fun. The biggest thing is to get your measurements right. That is probably the most time that you should spend on the pattern, is measuring your feet, like putting the measurements up against the size chart, which is what I did, and that's going to help you come out with a good fit. So definitely spend time getting your measurements together and write your measurements down because you will need them later on in the pattern. So it took me about 7 days to crochet these slippers. I was filming, so that took up a little bit more time. I feel like if I wasn't filming, I probably could have got this done in 1 or 2 days, and that is including the wash cycle as well. So really, really easy, simple pattern. And also, felting a project was on my list of goals for this year. You may remember when I did my 2026 knit and crochet goals, one of them was to felt something. I wanted to felt a project, and I have done that. So I'm so excited to have met my goal. The yarn husband likes them. He thinks they're cool. My puppy likes them. So everybody in the family likes them. So that's really, really nice. Yeah, I think they're wonderful. Look, I did get a bit of a rounded toe, so that's really nice. Like that. And yeah, they're just overall beautiful, beautiful slippers, and I really enjoy wearing them. I wanted to tell you all about a pattern that I recently released. They are called the Pearls Fingerless Gloves. Let's take a look. Hello, I have released a crochet pattern, y'all. It is the Pearls Fingerless Gloves. Yes, so this pattern was named after my childhood dog, Pearl, who was just the best little girl, and it is a beginner friendly pattern, and it has been tested, so thank you to my testers. I have it available here in a solid color and a variegated color, just so you can know what the differences look like. And it uses an H hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook, and it requires about 90 yards or 82.3 meters of worsted weight yarn. And so the techniques you will need to know include chain, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, back loop only, and the herringbone half double crochet. And so the length of these gloves are 7 inches, and that's 17.8 centimeters. And the pattern is made to fit teens and adults. And also the pattern includes instructions on how to make the gloves smaller or larger, just depending on your hands. So get your Pearls Fingerless Gloves today on Ravelry or Etsy, and I will leave them linked below. I wanted to talk about the Better Together Make Along that Trish of Tie-Dye Diva and I are hosting. And basically you can hold 2 strands of yarn together to make a project. So it doesn't matter whether you're knitting or crocheting or whatever your craft may be, we are including all of those. And I did want to do a bit of a note. So I am hosting the Instagram side. Trish is hosting the Ravelry side, and I will leave that Ravelry linked below. But one thing to note about the Instagram side is that for whatever reason, I'm having a hard time seeing the hashtags. When I put in the hashtag, all this other stuff comes up that's not relevant. So what I want you to do, if you are going to tag the hashtag Better Together MAL, make sure you tag me, and that way I will see it for sure and make sure that I put you in the running for the drawing. So once again, make sure you tag me. I would really appreciate that, because if you are submitting a project, I really want you to, I want your project to be seen by me. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Okay, let's talk about what I am wearing. I am wearing the Summer Breeze Crop 2.0, and it is designed by Designs by Key. So I really love this, and I created a Ravelry page for it. And in that Ravelry page includes the video link, because I did an entire video on this project. All right, y'all, let me know what you worked on while watching, or did you just chill? I would love to know. I love reading you all's comments. Definitely click that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell if you want to be notified when I come up with new videos. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate your support. And until next time, bye.